Okay, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Smoky Rumor. Are you a Smoky Rumor? Do you want to be a Smoky Rumor? It's very easy to do. Just say, hey, I want to be a Smoky Rumor. Why you might look at you could subscribe, and like. You can like this. You cannot like it, or you could like it. It's easy. I like mine with a little bit of butter on it. So here we are. It's Sunday. It's after church, and boy, what a sermon! My pastor, you might know the name. My pastor is Donnie Swagger. I really like that guy. I like his dad too. Jimmy back in the day really stepped on it. And actually, I thought the guy died. I didn't, until I retired, I had time on my hands and I started flipping through the channels. I would normally do that before I took my dog on a walk. I don't know why. And Chica would be sitting there looking at me like, yo, we're supposed to go on a walk. And I'm flipping through the channels. And I said, hey, that's Jimmy Swaggart. I thought he was dead. But anyway, I started watching him and I got to like him. But, there was that feeling like, maybe something wrong with this guy or something. So I flew to Baton Rouge. Actually, I flew to Baton Rouge quite a few times because I said, I really like what this guy's saying, but I need to know whether or not he's full of crap. So I went there because I could look somebody in the eye and I could feel the vibe of what's going on. And the dude's for real. I got a tremendous amount of respect for him. And you want to know why that is? We had a president once that said, I never had sexual relations with that woman. He just completely lied. Now, Jimmy, on the other hand, um, let the whole world know. He's got a world uh, um, ministry, and that went out to the world, and he admitted he really screwed up. So, I told you that just to let you know that I have a tremendous amount of respect for these people. And the son, though, today, Donnie, wow, he hit it out of the park. It was a very pro American, pro Trump sermon. And it caused me to do some thinking, to want to reiterate something one of these shows was based on, I don't know, maybe a few months ago. And I thought I would word it maybe a bit differently today. Something that I thought about a number of years ago. Why do you love your country? I mean, loving your country can get you killed, right? Right? I mean, a lot of young men and women have died because they love this country. Yes, we know that's a fact. So, is that feeling worth you giving your life? Everything you love? I mean, you're just going to say bye bye to because of a belief you have? And that really caused me to wonder, what is it? And then it dawned on me. I mean, look, I served my country um, during the Vietnam War, but I stayed stateside. And I hate to admit it, but I had the time of my life. But there were a few instances there. It got fairly hairy. Like we got called to go to Saigon when Saigon fell, and a few other things. But of course we didn't go. Fortunately, because I'd still be there. I know it for a fact. The platoon I was in, we were more hippies than the hippies were. We made hippies jealous. Um, the times we are living in right now, to say are serious is the understatement of understatements. This past week, I've been following very closely what is taking place in England and Ireland, and it's very very interesting to see how the administrations there are dealing with the protests and how they are, without any shame whatsoever, more or less, you could say, taking the side of the illegals. And I like the way the British citizens are acting. And you could say, but Joe, you're a Christian. Yeah. But like I said, I think in the last video, there is something that is called righteous anger. The British citizens, all they want their country back. You see, they have let it go and let it go and let it go. And what's getting them upset when you look at the interviews, they feel very similar to how we feel, that we are not against immigration. We're all for it. But what we are asking is, if you're going to come into England, you're going to come in here legally. And you're going to be willing to assimilate, meaning you're going to want to be a British citizen. The same thing in Ireland. The same thing here. How does that happen? You got the same thing happening in Ireland, England, and the United States, and other parts of the world also. They just haven't, taken it to the level that the British Irish are. And I don't know why that hasn't happened here yet, but it's going to. So I started this off with why you should love your nation. The reason I'm saying that is, and I'm not alone in this, many, many people can feel the tension. They can feel this oncoming avalanche of something. We don't know what it is yet, but something big is going to burst. And you're going to need to ask yourself the question, is this worth fighting for? Or are the globalists right? That, there should be a brotherhood of man and we all share the earth, which is very true. Very, very true. But then, when you look at the people that state this is the brotherhood of man and we should, you find out that they're really creepy people. But to convince yourself of why you should be patriotic or why you should love your country, it takes a little doing. You got to really think it through. Because, like I said, you're putting your life up. You're gonna risk your life. And me, and I think I've said this a number of times on other videos, I have a thing with sacrifice. You see, I'll start with this. I have a very, very close friend. Okay. And I've said this many times. His mother and father actually met in Poland in 1945. They're Jews. They met in a place called Auschwitz. Auschwitz was a factory. It was a factory designed specifically to kill people. Now, if young American men didn't invade Normandy, didn't invade Europe, my buddy would never have been born. So I would have never had the pleasure of knowing him, because there would have been no way to stop this factory continuing to kill people. It's estimated that Auschwitz alone exterminated 3 million people in its. Well, they started killing after the. See if I can pronounce this correctly. The Wannsee Conference, which is when top leaders of the Nazi regime got together and figured out the final solution of how they were going to go about exterminating all the Jews in Europe. The Wannsee, I think it was Wannsee. They pronounced their W's with a V. So if it weren't for young American guys, I wouldn't know him. Now, this is what brings me into patriotism and why, at least in my mind, I am patriotic. Imagine it's 1944, early 44. You're 18, maybe 17. You just graduated high school. One day in the mail, you get your draft notice. And, well, I'll see you, Mom and Dad. I'm going into the Army. You may want to, you may not want to, but you don't have a choice. You go. Now, you've got a girlfriend. I mean, nothing really serious. But you've got a girlfriend and you like her a lot, and you're wondering, do I love this girl? Do I not love it? Should I continue to spend money on this girl? I don't know. I've only kissed her once, But you're making plans and you want to take her to the prom. I mean, you really want to take this gal to the prom, you know what I mean? But, Rather than telling her you're going to take her to the prom, you walk over there and you tell what's her face, look, I got my draft notice. You know, going in the army. And you go into the army, you go through basic training. They send you to England, and you're living on board a ship for a while until that great day in June, D-Day. And I mean, you don't really know what the hell's going on. You're a nitwit. You're 18 years old. All you know is you do what the sergeant tells you to do, and you keep your mouth shut. But you know something big is gonna happen. I mean, you've seen it. You've seen this flotilla of thousands of ships, and you're saying to yourself, "Oh my God, what the hell did I get myself into?" But that day, you're in a a landing craft. You're sick as a dog, and you get close to the shore, and you can hear the bullets hitting the ramp that's going to go down. And the ramp goes down, and you're dead. To me, that is really worth something. I cannot, in my mind, allow that sacrifice to go unhonored. That's why I go ballistic when these assholes that are making millions take a knee. Because some young kid, back in time, didn't have a chance to live his life, gave up his life, so that I can know a guy that I had great times with. That dead kid allowed that to happen. We're there again, ladies and gentlemen. But this time it's right here. It's right here. You know, I have a son who's involved in radio and he works in Manhattan. And I pray for him every night. I pray for his safety. Because New York is really starting to turn into a fairly dangerous place. Now, we are in the midst of an oncoming election. Like you don't know that, right? And you can tell who I'm going to vote for. And we look. Let me read something to you. This is from the Bible. This is from Ephesians. Okay, chapter 6, starting verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and against powers and against the rulers of darkness. Let's look at what the other side stands for. You see, I happen to live in one of those states that a gal could say, yeah, I'm 9 months pregnant, so what? I decided I don't want the kid. And she can get an abortion. Now, they know that the baby has feeling, can feel pain. Uh, I think it's 2 months, 3 months. I may have that wrong, but it's very early on the pregnancy that baby can feel pain. And if you're willing to vote for that side, there's just something wrong with you. Just no other way to say it. There's something sick and twisted in there. Now, what's scary to me, and here's where sacrifice gets into this, is that they are going to do everything in their power. And when I say they, I am talking about the globalists. They're also known as the shadow government. They're also known as the swamp. They they got their back up against the ropes right now because they're getting their ass kicked in the polls. So they've already tried to take Donald Trump out physically. We know that. There's no speculation on that. That was a setup. A 20-year-old kid is on a roof with a long gun. People are taking video of it on their phone, yelling at the police, and nothing happens, right? Don't get me started on that one. But these people are evil. They are just downright sick, twisted, and evil. How else do you explain that? I mean, can you imagine? Look, the Nazis had this. See, Wannsee was a town. It was a suburb. I think it was a suburb of Berlin, actually. And there was this mansion. And they used this mansion and had this gathering and sat down and discussed eliminating human beings. And oh, okay, no big deal. That is pretty. I mean, to say it's sick and twisted is an absolute understatement. Now, to say that a 9-month-old can be aborted, I think goes beyond that. I just do. How does that mother live with that afterwards? She's got to be sick and twisted herself. But anyway, I don't even know why I said that. But this is what we are up against. More than likely, there's going to be another attempt, or a number of attempts, to take Donald Trump out of the picture physically, so that they can continue with their ideals of a world government controlled by the evil people in charge. Can you imagine Kamala Harris as a president? Think that one through, really. And then this piece of garbage, this bucket of human feces, whatever the hell his name is, Waltz or something like that. Him. Can you imagine? This is what we are up against. This is why I started off with sacrifice. Why do you love your country? Is it worth that? You gotta make a decision. This is where we are at in human history. If you notice, there's no joking around on this particular video either, is there? Because this is serious business. Because if we should wake up November 6th, and Donald Trump isn't the president, either we just sit back and take it, or we pursue righteous anger like no one has ever imagined possible. Other than George Washington and that crew. They imagined it and then they followed through, which is what we would have to do. Because the United States wouldn't exist at that point. I mean, I kind of think it doesn't exist now, to be completely honest with you. I mean, we are, a lot of us are armed. A lot of us are veterans. And a lot of us are pretty damn old with bad knees, bad backs. But like I've said in previous videos, it wouldn't just be an angry mob. Well, maybe it would in the beginning. But just like George Washington had to do, somebody's got to come in and put the thing together. And military will be on our side. Some of them anyway, not all of them, but military would be on our side. But we're certainly going to need them. We're going to need them for command, for organization, for logistics, all kinds of things. Medical, we're going to need that. Okay, we're not going to be able to. We wouldn't be able to do it on our own. Unless it becomes guerrilla type of warfare, but even that would need to be organized in some fashion. Now, I don't know whether or not, I'm pretty sure the FBI is going to look at this. I don't think I'm saying anything they can arrest me for. I go to bed wondering about this stuff at night. In the United States. And that's a messed up shame, isn't it? I gotta worry about that. But this is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to make that decision that the love of your country is worth your life. And make sense of it. And know why. And get right with God. Accept Jesus Christ as your Savior. I'm not going to do it today, but I'm going to do a video. It's going to be an altar call. I'll take you through the sinner's prayer and help you out with that. Because we're at that point. We're at that point. Okay? Look, I've been in fights where I felt my life was on the line. Believe me. They were bloody and nasty. I know what it's like. I mean, I was never in combat, but you could say I was in hand-to-hand combat, and I was usually drunk when that happened. This is fun. I guess I gotta throw some levity into this. And these always happened when I was in the Army, but I got into a fight downtown. I mean, it was nasty. I don't know if the guy died or not, but one of the guys that was involved got knifed in the gut, and I don't remember what the hell happened to him. But me, it was drunk and disorderly and fighting. I don't remember. But it's court day, and fortunately, I don't know how they did it, but the base, Fort Carson, took care of the. I got charged downtown, but the penalty was served on base. But I'm there. I'm there and the guy I'm fighting, he's sitting there with this big ass patch on his head. Uh, and Judge said, "You've been up before me before?" What do you think I said? "I don't know. What time did you get up?" I thought it was, a lot of people thought it was pretty damn funny. Obviously, the judge did not. But yeah, I mean, really, I couldn't let, that was, I couldn't let it go. It just, you know, I was asking for it. What time do you get up? But anyway, maybe he's thinking about it today and thought, you know what, that guy was pretty damn funny. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're living in serious times. Don't underestimate the enemy. And that's how you got to look at them. They are the enemy. And you may have friends, or what you thought were friends, that dislike you now because you wear one of these and you want to vote for this guy, and they're just like all messed up about that. Oh, there are people very, very, very close to me. Yeah. That relationship has completely changed because of this. Very similar to what happened during the American Civil War. I mean, the American Civil War tore families apart, and we know how bloody that was. So, what did we learn today, ladies and gentlemen? We learned whether or not the United States is worth fighting for. And if you decide that it's worth fighting for, prepare yourself, understand what it is you're fighting for. Okay. And we are living in very historic times. And that's pretty much it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, go out and have a hamburger, do whatever you want. But I will see you on the flip, as Russell would say.